Charlotte Ostermann, and I entered the church in 1997. A girl came to work for me who was a sweet, dear Christian. She was my accounting clerk and would go off and pray during lunch or pray for people who were sick, and everybody else in the office made fun of her. To make fun of her even better, I decided to go to her Bible study with her that she had continued to invite everybody to. So I went to this little tiny evangelical Bible study where they sang prayer choruses and had apparently been praying for me, her tough-minded, hard-hearted boss, for months before I got there, praying that I would just come. And when I did, it melted my heart in a way that made me feel vulnerable and angry. I didn't want my heart to be melted. I didn't want to be vulnerable. But something happened in the course of that just small night there, and I knew that I had to follow up on it. I felt God just pushing at me to do more, to take the next step. So I asked her what the next step was. She said, you need to read about Jesus. So you need to read the Bible. The next thing that seemed to be a requirement if you were going to be a Christian was to get into a church. So I called around demanding to know what all these different churches were all about and found one that was to my liking. The pastor was real sweet and sincere, and the people there were very beautiful and sweet and sincere. So I began my life as a Christian in the Nazarene church. I love the words of Scripture. I felt them reading me, felt them changing me, felt God's power coming through the words of Scripture. That desire for holiness, I would think, it was a beautiful gift to me. That the first place He called me to as a Christian was a place that spoke of holiness and the whole, full development in the Lord of perfection and freedom. I understood what the church meant by its authority to teach what the truth was. I went through the catechism. From the very beginning of the catechism, I was challenged to understand by what authority we even had the Scriptures. And again, I loved the Scriptures so much, I was not going to follow anybody that didn't also love the Scriptures. And I was surprised to find out the Catholic Church not only did love the Scriptures, but gave me the Scriptures in the first place, that it was by their authority that I even had a Bible. And that they challenged me to submit to that authority because they knew better and that Christ had protected the church from error. If I were where I was those few years ago, loving Christ, loving the Scripture, wanting the fullness of holiness, the fullness of spiritual growth, I would just say to that person, keep following Jesus wherever He leads, even if it's somewhere that seems a little scary to you, like the Catholic Church, because He won't lead you astray. He won't lead you astray. He will lead you into all truth if you first are willing to obey. The problem is if you limit where He can lead you to what you already understand or are willing to obey, He can't get you any further. So just trust Him to lead you, and He really will.